and, throw rocks when you live in a glass house, because I shattered that shit.
Okay, moving on. BBJ. How much time do you put working into that?
A lot. I studied my form. I take a broomstick and I put it over myself to keep my burpees low. I study my hand placement. I study my foot placement. I do yoga so that I have the mobility to do the things that I need to do.
So time wise, 227. Again, is that just probably where you wanted to be?
I mean, we do it. So this is the difference between the grid and like other races. Like, I think my best burpees are always under 2 minutes. And like this is, obviously an extra 27 seconds on top. So I just accept it for what it is as long as I'm in front.
Are you how are you feeling now? Like halfway through the race? Like I know I'm ahead of the competition, right? Foot on the gas.
I think I was 48 seconds ahead of the world record at this point. And I personally started to feel like not good. I own a hydration company, so this doesn't sound good, but it had nothing to do with my hydration because it was on point and I studied the amount of hydration and product that I needed to do. But I had a quad shot of espresso before this with a bunch of honey in it, and I started to get like cramps in my psoas and abs, and it started to go on the inside of my thighs, and I was like, I have to pull back. And that's when I started putting water all over myself. I was like, I need to start pulling back because the likelihood of like absolute failure is now in the conversation. Like one of those debilitating cramps where you can't even move your leg. And it was starting to happen. And I was like, I can't do this, but I can stay at like 85, 90%, but I can't go 110. I can't go 100, 105%. You know what I mean?
So your
So
goal before the race started was smash everyone plus world record. And then it became okay, B goal, just be the world champion.
yeah, I had run 52 so many times in training. I was like, this is very possible. So I was like, I just was waiting on the
What
day. I
but
tried it in Anaheim too, and I just couldn't do it. And I decided to drop out of the race because it's just, what am I going to do? I'm going to get to the finish line and they're going to give me another bus token. Um, I, but this is world championships. It's a different story. Like you show up and this is where we like are meant to really do the thing.
yeah,
So
and I think that's a part that again, people just don't understand. Like, but I think for your competition, it get like they thought, oh, we've seen a Kraken hunter, and I have to say that's actually not good for them because it's the opposite. But I'm just for me, I kind of like I know he's done it before, and it's like it's not. It seems people do that, whether you agree that it's smart or it's what you would do. Who cares? It's like, but this is the kind of thing that people, not Hunter McIntyre, a person at this level would do. I'm out to do X at the end of the day, like you said, I'm going to get a nice little medal that says like that doesn't like, but he'll show up on race. He'll show up when it counts, and that's again not an opinion of you. That just to me is like you're operating somewhere else. You're not. People can't. I
yeah,
feel
I
like
mean,
that. I feel like that line from. I feel like that line from fucking Few Good Men when he's like, you know, you live in a world with walls, and I don't think you have the capacity to even fathom like what we're doing here to protect you. So shut the fuck up, basically.
yeah. Yeah. And like, dude, you should have seen the DMs and the messages about people just like saying I'm so disrespectful and pathetic for dropping out because I wasn't gonna allow myself to like fairly be beat by Kent and everything. And I just you just stop giving a fuck because it's just like it's your world and there's people you've never met that are just fucking throwing shade at you all the time. And I get it, it's a sport, and I made a post afterwards trying to explain it, and people still did it. So this was what I was trying to do. This is a chart of my training over the past 6 months. And basically,
That's not your Bitcoin account.
that is billionaire. But I went all the way up. And if you look at April, like April is
So
right
he's
where that,
showing. So I got to tell the audience, the people who are listening, it's a Strava account, and it's showing the increase in performance, and it is very
it's
straight
over
up.
six, it's over 6 months. And I went as hard as I could to peak. And that's where I did the last test. there, and I was like, okay, I'm like really overworking my body. I need to come down. So I came down. You can see on the other side of the graph, like I very clearly start to cut off the training, and then it starts to go down on the other side. So I reached my peak and I started to come down, and that was it. So that's where that all came into play. And, obviously worked out.
So so for the second half of the race, like mentally, by the time you hit farmer's carry, which you know you're gonna like kind of zip in and out of, um, you actually had like not you were the fifth fastest to farmer's carry. So by that point, that was like I no longer need to be on record pace, but I know what I need to do to win.
It was just management. As I said, it was like that 85 to 90%. Like, don't take any risks. Like, a world title is super valuable at this point. You get that, right?
Yes.
Yes. It'd be like being in a race car and they're like, hey man, if you keep at this pace, you're going to pop one of your tires.
Yeah. Do you want to
And
pop a tire at the right before the finish line, or do you want to win?
exactly. It's just like, hey, keep it down for the next 2 laps. You win and just get it done. So like that's where I went. And like you could tell, like when I was on the wall balls, like I was really like, I have to drop the ball every 7 to 10 reps or it's gonna seize up.
You had one of the worst wall balls of the day. You were 11th in wall balls, which I'm just now seeing. That's hilarious.
Well, I telling you the truth. But you saw me cross the finish line. Everybody was like falling on the floor, exploding. I was fine. I just didn't want to cramp.
No, I think that's smart. It's all. I also would think about it like a title fight, right? Like if you're ahead on points, you want to start swinging a bunch of haymakers that are gonna like give your opponent a chance to knock you out, or you just like let's maintain and
Open
win
you
this
up.
thing.
Just take it. Yes. Yes.
And again, by the way, you still maintaining quote unquote is still at a level more like it's still in the 1% of the 1%.
And we set a world record on the grid. So like the grid racing, technically open field racing, I have the record. I don't think they're ever going to put this in the books, but grid style racing, I hold the record there too now. But everybody's improvements, everybody improved. The results were really impressive. Like, Ronkovic was right there 50 seconds behind me, 55 seconds behind me. So it was good. The field last year was all like sitting around. I was at 58 and everybody was sitting around 60 plus. Now everybody's down into like the sub 60s, which is awesome. Like you clearly saw a massive leap in performance for the whole field from last year.
So you said you want to quote unquote stick around for another year.
Yeah.
Where do you go though for the rest of this? I mean, we're kind of already turning around to qualify for the next year's championships, which seem are still kind of up in the air. So how are you looking at the future or the immediate next 12 months, I guess, or 6 months?
I mean, so I don't know if this is going to happen. They say this is going to happen every single year, but here's how I would envision it. Now, I don't own the company, but I do have some value to add to this thing. I think what they should do is they should sit down with the athletes and discuss how to design a season that is most viable for progress of sport, progress of business, of individuals, and the company itself. They're like, oh, we're going to do these 4 championships and they're going to be all over the place. And I was like, man, you can't pay people in bus tokens to fly around the world to go do these perceived championships. So here's what I think would be valuable. One, athletes need to basically be able to discuss where they're going to get the most value out of their season, where they're going to get the most value monetarily out of their season. And then Hyrox needs to be honest about what they're planning on designing well ahead of time so that we can start to like set up for it. Like I personally am going to try to get the doubles. Well, I'm not going to try. I'm going to do it. I'm going to get the doubles world title back for men. I'm going to get the mixed doubles title, and I'm going to get the mixed relay title or relay title. I'm going to get those 3 things in the open season, and then I'm going to probably show up to a championship. And then I'll probably I'm going to get that 52 or less on an open course, and then I'll just go to win the world title again.
Who is your men's doubles partner?
Kent and I discussed it. Kent and I discussed it. I'd probably race with Kent and I'd probably race with Jacoby. She asked me to do it. So I think that'd be really fun. And then mixed relays, I don't know, probably like, Weeks, Jacoby, myself, Kent, just a superstar American team.